In the year 3291, the galaxy was full of powerful and advanced alien civilizations. There were thousands of planets, many types of life, and great technology. The Galactic Council was the most powerful group in the galaxy. It included the oldest and strongest species, like the Dravani, the Zalari, and the Thorg. They believed they knew everything about space, but even they were afraid of one place. That place was called the Silence. It was a dark zone in space, 400 light-years wide. No light came from it. Stars inside it slowly disappeared. Ships that entered it never came back. Many brave explorers had tried to study it. All had failed. Some ships were lost forever. Others sent strange signals before vanishing. After many years, the Galactic Council made a rule. No ship could go near the Silence again. It was called a dead zone. Every species agreed. Even the most curious ones stopped trying, except for one: humans. Earth was a young member of the Galactic Council. Humans had only joined 50 years ago. Compared to others, they were still learning. Many alien species thought humans were weak and reckless. They laughed at human machines and simple designs. But humans were different. They had something most others did not. They never gave up. The Galactic Council met on the planet Altharion, inside the Grand Assembly Hall. The hall was massive, with glowing walls and silver floors. Thousands of alien leaders sat in a circle, speaking in many languages through translators. The council leader, a tall Dravani named Korthal, stood and raised a crystal staff. His voice echoed through the chamber. "We now close the matter of the Silence. It is unsolvable. No species will waste resources trying to explore it again." Most aliens nodded. The Silence had taken too many lives. Then a voice spoke from the human section. "I object," said Captain Elena Brooks. She stood tall in a gray Earth uniform, short brown hair and calm eyes. She was a space explorer and leader of Earth's Exploration Corps. Korthal looked surprised. "You speak human?" Elena nodded. "Yes. We believe we can try. We don't accept that the problem is impossible." Laughter spread across the room. A Zalari ambassador clapped his claws in amusement. "Your kind barely understands hyperspace. How will you solve a mystery that even the Thorg could not?" But Elena did not smile. She spoke clearly. "We don't claim to be smarter. We only promise to try." A moment of silence passed. Then the council leader finally said, "You may try, but you do so alone. The council will not assist you." Elena nodded once more. Understood. And just like that, the humans were given permission. Not because the aliens believed in them, but because they thought humans would fail. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. Some people were afraid, others were excited. The Earth government and science groups came together. They chose the best minds from around the world. Elena Brooks was placed in command. She selected a team of explorers, engineers, and scientists. Among them was Jonah Clay, a quiet data expert who loved solving puzzles. There was Naomi Lee, an artist and pattern specialist. Others included pilots, AI designers, and even a musician who could work with sound waves. Their ship would be called the ISS Dauntless, but before launching, they needed to study the Silence from a distance. They sent hundreds of small drones into space. Each drone was built with different sensors, frequencies, and shielding. They sent data back. Some signals made no sense. Some returned strange images. Some returned echoes that didn't match the time they were sent. "It's like space is folding inside the Silence," said Jonah. "But it's more than that," Naomi said. She stared at a strange image sent by one of the drones. "There's rhythm in the waves, like a heartbeat, or a song." Elena looked at the images. She felt something deep inside. A strange hope. Weeks passed. The team collected more data. Slowly, They built a map of the edges of the silence. Every ship that had disappeared in the past had followed a straight line in. But humans did something new. They curved their drones in spiral paths, dropped sensors at different intervals, and let chaos lead the search. That chaos began to bring answers. Jonah Clay stayed up for days, studying the waves. One night, he ran into the command room holding a tablet. "I think it's a message," he said. "A repeating signal. It's been looping for thousands of years." "What kind of message?" Elena asked. "An old one. It's broken and damaged, but I think it's a distress call." The room went quiet. "From who?" asked Naomi. "I'm not sure yet," Jonah replied. "But the language is similar to something we found in an ancient Zalari ruin." Everyone looked at each other. The Zalari were a myth. A species so old, they were believed to be extinct for over 1,000,000 years. They were one of the first known intelligent civilizations. Their ruins were scattered across the galaxy, but no one had ever met a living Zalari. "Are you saying the Zalari are inside the silence?" Elena asked. "I don't know," Jonah replied, "but they left something there." The team sent their findings to the Earth government. Earth leaders were nervous but agreed. This was humanity's mission now. The ship ISS Dauntless was finished and ready. It had special shields, flexible engines, and an AI named Clara that could learn and adapt faster than any other. The day before launch, Elena gave a speech. "We were told this could not be done. We were told to stay away, but we are not here to fight or conquer. We are here to understand. That is what it means to be human." People all around Earth watched the launch. Families, schools, scientists, and dreamers held their breath. The Dauntless rose into the sky and vanished into the stars, toward the silence, toward the unknown, and toward something no one else believed could be done. The ISS Dauntless moved through space like a quiet bird flying into a storm. It was small compared to other alien ships, but it was strong. It had been built not just with science, but with heart. Every bolt, every wire, every piece of metal carried the dreams of humanity. Inside the ship, Captain Elena Brooks stood on the command deck. The stars outside looked normal for now, but they were getting closer to the silence with each passing hour. "Distance to the outer edge?" Elena asked. 70,000 kilometers, replied Clara, the ship's AI. Clara had a soft voice and a mind that could think faster than any human. "We will cross into the affected zone in 3 hours." Elena turned to her crew. "Final checks. Make sure everything is ready. Once we're inside, we won't be able to call for help." Jonah Clay, the data expert, was already typing. "Sensors are running. AI filter is online. I've programmed Clara to search for anything that looks like language or patterns." Naomi, Lee, the artist and pattern specialist, smiled as she watched the waves on her screen. "The edge of the silence is beautiful, in a strange way. It's like the stars are whispering." Pilot Marcus Jones nodded. "Let's hope they're whispering good things." As the ship crossed the edge of the silence, everything changed. The stars disappeared. It wasn't darkness exactly. It was deeper than that. Like the ship had entered a place where light forgot how to shine. Space felt thicker. Time felt slower. Elena looked out the window. "Is this real?" Jonah checked the readings. "We're still here, but light waves are bending. Gravity is shifting in strange ways." The crew worked quickly. They launched small probes to explore the area. The probes moved in odd paths, like they were swimming in water, not flying through space. Some probes disappeared. Others came back with broken data. But one of them, Drone 47, sent something special, a pulse, a pattern, a repeating signal. Jonah stared at the screen. "It's the same signal as before, but clearer now. It's a distress call, repeating every 12 minutes. Elena leaned over. "Is it from the Zalari?" "I think so, or at least from their machines. It's very old. It's been playing for thousands of years. Translate it, Elena said. Jonah's hands moved quickly. Naomi came over to help. She understood shapes and symbols in a way computers didn't. Together they worked for hours, piece by piece. Then Clara spoke. Partial. Translation complete. A message appeared on the screen. This is Guardian Echo 9. All life in the core is lost. We have sealed the damage. Do not enter. This is not a trap. This is a warning. The room fell silent. Naomi whispered. They were trying to protect others, not destroy them. The crew sent more probes trying to find the source of the signal. Naomi used colors and sound to track the pulse. She discovered something strange. The signal wasn't coming from one place. It was bouncing in a pattern, like a circle. It's like a cage, she said. They built something to hold the danger inside, but it's breaking. Jonah added, the signal is weakening. The cage may fail in a few years. If we don't understand it, something worse might escape. Elena nodded. Then we need to find the heart of this system. Whatever the Zalari built, we have to see it. The journey deeper into the silence was not easy. The Dauntless faced energy storms, waves of power with no clear source. The walls of the ship glowed sometimes, reacting to strange particles. Crew members heard whispers, like old memories playing back in their heads. Clara warned them. The zone is affecting brain activity. Keep your minds focused. Use music, conversation, or tasks to stay sharp. Naomi played gentle songs on her tablet. Marcus told old Earth jokes. Even Jonah, quiet as always, started humming when he worked. Elena kept everyone strong. Remember, we are not here to fight. We are here to learn. The Zalari gave us a warning. We must understand it. After 4 days, they reached the center. It was not what they expected. Floating in the middle of the silence was a massive structure, bigger than Earth's moon. It looked like a metal flower with petals spread out in all directions. Each petal glowed faintly, pulsing with a deep red light. That's it, Jonah said. That's the source. Elena gave the order. Send a drone inside. The drone moved slowly, carefully. As it entered the structure, it sent back images. Inside was a large chamber filled with machines. Most were broken, but one still worked. A giant crystal, spinning slowly, sending out the signal. Naomi pointed. That's Guardian Echo 9. That's where the message comes from. Jonah added, it's running on emergency power. If it stops, we lose the warning. The Dauntless moved closer. Clara kept the ship steady. Suddenly, a voice came through. Not from the crystal, from inside the ship. A voice that was not human. Identify. Elena froze. Clara, what is that? Clara replied. It is a direct link. Guardian Echo 9 is speaking. Elena spoke carefully. We are humans. We come from Earth. We received your warning. The voice replied, slow and deep. Earth. New species. Time has passed. Too much time. Naomi stepped forward. Are you Zalari? No. I am Guardian. My creators are gone. I remained. Jonah asked, what happened here? The Guardian answered, a virus, not of flesh, but of thought. It changed our minds. It made us forget, then fight, then fall. Elena's voice was soft. Why did you stay? The Guardian paused. To protect others. This was our last act, to stop the spread. We built a cage of silence. But time weakens all things. The crew listened in awe. The Zalari had died not in war, but in sacrifice. They gave their lives to stop a danger that could have hurt the whole galaxy. Jonah asked, is the virus still active? No. Dead. Long ago. But memory lives. Fear lives. Silence remained. Elena said, then it is time to tell the truth to the galaxy. The silence is not a curse. It is a gift of warning. The Guardian replied, "Then go, carry our story, and thank you." The Dauntless turned and began the journey back. They had entered the place no one else dared. They had found not danger, but history, not monsters, but sacrifice. They were not the strongest, not the oldest, but they were the ones who tried, and that made all the difference. The ISS Dauntless had seen what no other ship in the galaxy had ever seen. Its crew had spoken with the last voice of a long-lost civilization. They had learned the truth about the silence. It was not a trap, not a curse, but a shield, built by a noble race called the Zalari. Captain Elena Brooks stood quietly at the window of the ship. The flower-shaped structure of Guardian Echo 9 was still visible behind them, its lights slowly fading into the dark. "We have what we came for," she said. "Now we take the truth home. But going back would not be easy. Inside the silence, space was not normal. Gravity changed directions. Time moved in strange ways. The crew had felt it during their journey in, but now it was worse. Jonah Clay, the data expert, looked pale. "Captain, I think the zone is collapsing behind us." Elena turned to him. "Collapsing?" "Yes." The Guardian said the cage was breaking. Now that it has used its last energy to speak with us, the entire structure may fall apart. Clara, the ship's AI, confirmed the danger. "Multiple waves of gravitational distortion are rising behind us. We must leave now or risk being trapped forever." The engines powered up. The Dauntless turned, heading toward the edge of the silence. But the space around them twisted like a spiral. Lights flickered. The ship shook. Naomi gripped her seat tightly. "It feels like the zone doesn't want to let us go." Elena gave the order. "Push the shields to full. Hold the course. No turning back." The ship fought its way through the dark. Strange storms hit them, made not of wind or water, but of time and gravity. The hull creaked, the lights dimmed, but the crew did not panic. They talked to each other. They shared jokes. They played Earth music through the speakers. Even as space bent around them, the crew stayed human. Elena watched them with pride. "We've come this far. We'll go home together." Clara found a possible path out. "There is a clear tunnel forming through the distortions. It lasts 30 seconds. If we enter it now, we may escape." Marcus, the pilot, focused hard. "Hold on, everyone." The engines roared. The ship shot forward. For a moment, everything turned. White, then silence, real silence, and stars. They had made it out. The crew cheered. Elena closed her eyes and smiled. "Well done, everyone," Naomi whispered. "We're back." But the mission was not over. The message of the Zalari still needed to be shared with the galaxy. As the Dauntless traveled back to galactic space, Jonah worked day and night. He cleaned the data, decoded more of the Guardian's message, and built a full report. Naomi created visuals, beautiful images showing the flower-shaped satellite, the patterns of the silence, and the story of the Zalari. She added music to match the mood, soft, powerful, full of memory. Clara organized everything into a format that could be shared with the Council. "We must show them what really happened," Elena said. "The silence was not a mistake. It was a gift. The Zalari gave us a warning. And now, we will give that warning to the galaxy." When the Dauntless finally returned to Council space, news of their survival spread like wildfire. Across hundreds of worlds, aliens watched in disbelief. They came back? Is it true? Humans went into the silence? No one ever returned before. The Galactic Council called a special meeting. It was the first emergency gathering in 50 years. On the great planet Altharion, the Council leaders sat once more in their circle. The room was quiet as Captain Elena Brooks walked in with her team. No one laughed this time. Council leader Korthal, the tall Dravani, stood. "Captain Brooks, you may speak." Elena nodded and stepped forward. We were told the silence was death. We found the truth. It was sacrifice. She shared the full message. The images played on a giant screen. The story of the Zalari, their fight against a thought virus, their fall and their final act to save others. Jonah showed the signal recordings. Naomi shared the translation. Clara explained the science. Then the room fell silent. Even the Thorg, known for their cold logic, remained still. Finally, the council leader spoke. "And what do you suggest we do now?" Elena looked around the room. Her voice was clear. Honor. Their gift. Protect the zone. But no longer call it the Silence. That name was given in fear. The Zalari deserve better. Naomi stepped forward. "We suggest a new name. The Memory Field. A place to remember, a place to learn." The vote passed. For the first time, all species in the council agreed. The Dark Zone was no longer feared. It was respected. Satellites were placed around the zone, not to keep people out, but to teach the truth. A monument was built in orbit with these words: "Here stood a race that gave everything to protect life. The Zalari. Let us never forget." And beside those words, another line: "Discovered and remembered by the humans of Earth." On Earth, people celebrated. The Dauntless returned to its home station. Schools taught the story. Children played. Games called Rescue the Guardian. Artists painted the memory field. Poets wrote about the courage of those who dared to enter the unknown. But for the crew of the Dauntless, it was more personal. They had seen something no others had, and they had come back changed. Elena visited her family for the first time in years. She sat with her mother under the stars and told her the full story. Jonah returned to his quiet lab, but now received messages from scientists across the galaxy. He smiled as he shared data with alien minds who once ignored him. Naomi opened an art exhibit called Echoes of the Guardian. Aliens and humans stood side by side, looking at her work with wonder. Marcus, the pilot, trained new explorers. He always said one thing before a flight: "Don't fear the unknown, learn from it." Later, the council gave Earth a special honor, not for power, not for war, but for discovery. Earth was called the Race That Tries, a name that brought pride to every human. 2 years had passed since the return of the ISS Dauntless from the Silence, now known as the Memory Field. The story of the Zalari had changed the galaxy. Once feared, the Dark Zone was now a place of deep respect. People came from across the stars to learn, to remember, and to honor. But humanity was not done yet. They wanted to go further. The mission of the Dauntless had proven that humans could do what others believed impossible. Now Earth was planning something bigger, a journey, not just to study the past, but to protect the future. A new ship was built, the ISS Zalari. The Zalari was unlike any ship ever made. It was built using technology from many species: Dravani shields, Zalari engines, and Thorg gravity stabilizers. But the heart of the ship was human. Captain Elena Brooks was chosen once again to lead the mission. Her bravery had inspired the galaxy, and her name had become a symbol of courage. This time she wasn't going back to the memory field. She was going beyond it. Scientists had discovered something strange after the message from Guardian Echo 9 was shared. Deep inside the data were coordinates, points in space that didn't match anything known. Jonah Clay, now one of the most respected data experts in the galaxy, believed these were locations of old Zalari satellites, or maybe even lost colonies. "This may be the final puzzle," Jonah told Elena. "If the Zalari left other signals, we must find them." Elena agreed. "We owe them that. Let's finish what they started." The ISS Zalari launched from Earth's main orbital dock. People from all over the planet watched the bright blue ship rise into the stars. It had the names of every crew, member of the Dauntless, engraved on its main wall. Naomi Lee, the artist who had helped unlock the Zalari message, returned as well. She had spent the past 2 years studying Zalari design and shapes. Her mind could see meaning in forms others ignored. "This time," she said with a smile, "I want to see their world, not just their warning." The ship traveled far beyond the known galaxy. The first coordinates led them to a cold system with 3 dead planets. But orbiting the third planet was a strange object, a small station shaped like a spiral. The team sent drones to explore. The station was old, damaged, and nearly silent. But inside, Jonah found another message. This time, it was not a warning. It was a memory. The station contained logs of Zalari life before the virus, images of their cities, their music, their stories. There were pictures of families, games, and art. Naomi watched in silence. They were beautiful. They were kind. Elena nodded. And now, through us, they will live again. They sent the data back to Earth and continued the journey. At each new location, they found more pieces of the puzzle. Some were full of science, records of how the Zalari studied the stars. Others were cultural, songs, languages, poems. One message touched the crew deeply. It was the voice of a Zalari child recorded long ago. "If someone hears this, please, remember us. We tried to be good. We loved our world. We didn't want to disappear." The room was quiet. Even Clara, the ship's AI, said nothing for a full minute. Then Elena said, "You are not forgotten. Not anymore." But not all discoveries were peaceful. At the 4th location, the crew found signs of a different danger, an old Zalari defense station that had activated itself. The system had mistaken the Zalari ship for a threat. Red beams flashed through space. Drones were destroyed. The crew scrambled. "Clara!" Elena shouted. "Find a way to talk to it!" Clara worked fast, using the language learned from Guardian. Echo 9, she sent a signal to the station. For a long minute, nothing happened. Then the lights on the station turned blue. The weapons stopped. "Defense deactivated," Clara confirmed. "We are now recognized as friends." Naomi laughed in relief. "Even after all these years, they still have guards." Jonah smiled. "But now we speak their language." The journey continued for months. The ship passed strange stars, black holes, and glowing gas fields. The crew grew closer, united by their goal. They weren't just exploring, they were becoming part of something bigger. Elena kept a journal. In it, she wrote, "We came here as explorers, but now I feel like we're walking in someone else's footsteps. We're not alone in the dark anymore. We're guided." At the 7th location, they found something unexpected, a living system, a planet with breathable air, clean water, and signs of life. Small animals, plants, even simple machines, still running on solar power. Naomi was the first to say it. "This was one of their homes," Jonah nodded. "A hidden colony, maybe one of the last. They tried to survive here." The crew walked on the surface with care. They saw broken buildings, overgrown gardens, and carvings on stone walls. One carving showed a group of Zalari looking up at the stars. In the sky above them was a shape that looked very close to a human. "Did they dream of us?" Naomi whispered. "Did they know we would come one day?" Elena placed her hand on the stone. "Maybe they hoped. Maybe they believed someone would find the truth." Before leaving the planet, the crew built a monument. On it, they wrote in both English and Zalari, "You are remembered. You are honored. You are not alone." As the ISS Zalari headed back to Earth, the crew knew their journey had changed everything, not just for humans, but for the entire galaxy. They had shown that the past could speak to the future, that even the oldest voices could still teach and inspire, and that no challenge was too great. if someone was willing to try. Back on Earth, their return was greeted with celebration. People watched the recordings of the Zalari cities. Children sang the songs Naomi brought back. Scientists studied the machines found on the last planet, and the Galactic Council met once again. This time, not to warn or to doubt, but to thank. Captain Elena Brooks stood before the same leaders who once laughed at her. No one laughed now. She spoke clearly. We are not heroes. We are just humans. We saw a door that was closed and we knocked. That's all. Council leader Korthal stood slowly. And because of that, the galaxy has grown brighter. In the years that followed, a new kind of ship was created, a ship of peace and memory. Built by many species, it traveled to the stars to learn, to connect, and to preserve. Its name was simple. Years had passed since the ISS Zalari returned from its historic mission. The galaxy was no longer the same. Borders were more open. Trust between alien races had grown, and Earth was no longer just the new planet in the Galactic Council. It was now a symbol of hope. In schools across the stars, students studied the story of the humans who entered the silence. Monuments were built not only on Earth but also on Zalari moons, Thorg space stations, and even Dravani sky cities. But humans were not finished. They still had one more mission. A new ship was ready. It was called the Human Spirit. And it was not just a ship of science. It was a ship of peace. Its purpose was simple: to travel the galaxy and share the lessons of the past, to visit places touched by the Zalari, to meet new species, and to remind everyone that courage, kindness, and curiosity still mattered. Captain Elena Brooks had retired after her last journey, but she stood proudly at the launch ceremony. The new captain, a young woman named Maya Dawson, had been trained by Elena herself. You don't need to be perfect, Elena told Maya, smiling. You just need to keep going when others stop. The Human Spirit launched from Earth with a full crew of humans and aliens working together. Jonah Clay stayed on Earth to lead the new Zalari Research Institute, but Naomi Lee joined the mission once more, now as cultural ambassador. She carried with her a special box. Inside were small pieces of stone, metal, and crystal, fragments from every Zalari site they had found. Her goal was to take those memories across the stars and create art that would remind the galaxy of the truth. This time, Naomi said, I won't just study beauty. I'll spread it. The first stop of the Human Spirit was a quiet moon, near the Thorg border. It had no cities, no life, just silence and wind. But long ago, the Zalari had visited it. A small symbol had been found there. 3 stars in a circle, the ancient Zalari sign of friendship. Captain Maya led a small team to build a marker. It was made of stone and glass. On it were the words, We remember you. We carry your light. As they worked, a Thorg ship landed nearby. At first, the crew was nervous. The Thorg were not known for kindness. But something had changed. The Thorg commander stepped out, looked at the monument, and said quietly, My people once saw this moon as useless. Now, we see it as sacred. Maya nodded. We are glad to share it with you. The Thorg commander added a stone of his own, one with a message carved in his own language. Memory is stronger than war. The Human Spirit continued its journey. On each planet, moon, or asteroid touched by the Zalari, they left a gift, a sculpture, a poem, a signal of peace. People began calling them the Star Carriers. Soon, other ships from different races began to join the effort. The Dravani sent historians. The Zalari shared music. Even the cold-minded Thorg created holograms of their strongest memories. One day, Naomi looked out at a sky full of ships from many worlds, all working together. This is what they wanted, she whispered. Unity across time. But the mission also brought surprises. In a forgotten system at the edge of explored space, the human spirit picked up a strange signal. It was weak, hidden, but very old. Jonah, now working from Earth, helped analyze it. "It's Zalari," he said over the transmission. "But different. This isn't a memory or warning, it's alive." "Alive?" Maya gave the order. "Set course. We're going to find it." What they discovered was beyond belief. Floating. In space was a small sphere. It looked like crystal, but it was covered in markings, some human, some Zalari, some unknown. When the crew brought it aboard, the sphere began to glow softly. Then it spoke. Not in words, but in thoughts. Each crew member heard it in their own language. "I am the last dream." Naomi stepped forward. "What are you?" "I am what was left behind when the Zalari ended. A piece of hope, a seed of mind." The crew listened in awe. The sphere was not a person, but a memory so strong it had taken shape. A part of the Zalari consciousness, built to survive. "Why are you here?" Maya asked. "To be found," it answered. "To remind, to share, to begin again." The human spirit returned to Earth with the sphere. It was placed in a safe chamber at the Zalari Research Institute. But it did not stay locked away. Every month, a different race was invited to spend time with it. Children learned from its thoughts. Scientists asked questions. Poets wrote about it. The sphere never gave full answers, but it always shared peace. And slowly, the galaxy changed. New schools were built where species learned side by side. Star. Maps now showed not just trade routes and danger zones, but also paths of memory, places linked to the past. A new galactic celebration was created. Once a year, ships across the stars stopped for 1 hour. They turned off lights. They looked at the sky. And they remembered. They remembered the Zalari. They remembered the silence. And they remembered the humans who dared to go in. In her final speech before stepping down, Council Leader Korthal said, "The galaxy is wide. Its challenges are many. But one truth remains. Where others saw fear, humans saw hope. Where others turned away, they moved forward. And because of that, we are all better." Back on Earth, Elena Brooks watched the night sky. She was older now, but her heart still burned with wonder. She smiled as children played nearby, building ships from sticks and stones, pretending to fly into space. One little girl ran up to her. "Are you the captain who talked to the stars?" Elena chuckled. "I just listened. The stars had stories to tell." "Will I go to the stars someday?" the girl asked. "You already have," Elena said, pointing up. "Your heart is out there." And far, far away, in the quiet dark between galaxies, a soft pulse blinked. It was a message, not of warning, not of fear, but of welcome.